here. Spinning cursor, why? No, good morning, so we are up. Okay, I'm just seeing a spinning cursor at this end. Whatever, seems to be okay. All right. Something a bit different this morning. 2 jobs on hand. One of them you'll see, and the next one might be a bit interesting too. We'll see. If I can wake up here. Is this going to focus? I can't see if it's on the screen or not. I'm just getting a cursor and I can't see if it's not going to focus, is it? There it is. They're laser printed, or laser cut. It says Mokuhankan, Patreon, Winter 2017. Mokuhankan, Patreon, Summer 2017. And we're getting ready for the final shipment of these. This is the last time these chibis will be out in the world. This is almost certainly not going to show, right? Is it? And because the paper's already dry, this should have been done when the paper was moist from printing. But because it's already dry, I have to moisten it here. Instant moistening. Oops. So who's here and what's going on this morning? Let's get this rolling. Embossing today. That's the first stage today. Two jobs on hand today. First is this embossing. Be careful, guys. Please don't get me in trouble here, okay? Don't get me in trouble. If I lose this, I lose everything. So I know. Please don't push this secret thing going on. I know. We have interesting projects coming up. I shouldn't. What I can say is this: we do have an interesting project coming up. But I have a specific problem, and that if it becomes too public, it will cause great problems at this end here in Tokyo, and I might lose the chance to do this project. So, we've teased a little bit here and there about stuff coming up. Those of you who do know something about it, please do me a favor and just try not to talk too much about this. Because if this knowledge becomes too widespread, it could cause the whole thing to go wrong. So I'm sorry to be vague and funny and whatever. So just sit on this. And just enjoy stuff as it happens. Also, when I woke up this morning in the email box, I found a note that said, Francis Hanga is going online or something. I forget what the exact wording was. So I guess William was streaming yesterday, but when I went to his Twitch page to see what was there was no stored video. Is it turned off, William, or you've erased it already, or because there's no way I'm going to be able to watch you at 2 o'clock in the morning. But I would like to see, so. Let's see if they show. Can we get the light right? Is it focusing? Okay, there's questions I see about what's going on. It's embossing. These are the 2 prints. These are what we call the chibi prints. These are the prints that were made for our Patreon backers this year. There's different levels of backing over on the Patreon page. There's a basic level called the chibi level. And people who are backing at that level, I forget how much it is, whatever, it's not much. They get one of these chibi prints twice a year. We do them twice a year. We do them summer and winter. So people backing at the chibi level, they get this one in the summer and this one in the winter. And that, I say summer and winter, whatever, it's just re A and B, because we've still been sending the summer one, and we're now going to switch this month to the winter one. And it turns out that we haven't got enough. And we made a batch of them earlier in the year, but it turned out not to be enough. So we made a batch the last couple of days. And I have to now put the embossing in. So. This should be over in a few minutes, and then get on to this morning's real work, which is connected with the Great Wave. We're going to do some Great Wave work later, as soon as I finish this part of this morning's work. To do the embossing, you need the paper just a little bit moist, not saturated. If it's too wet and soggy, the stuff just doesn't work well. And if the paper's too hard and dry, then the embossing doesn't get deep enough into the fibers. So you just need a nice gentle moisture. using a medium baron, fair amount of pressure. And it dries in seconds, and that's it. The embossing is permanent. You can stack the paper and dry them and press them, and it doesn't hurt the embossing. Snow, 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 look at this. Something else to mention too, on the fan page, the Facebook fan page, there's been some fabulous stuff, being done. Some really cool work the last few days. I've really enjoyed seeing that. I see those blocks you guys are making and printing, and I'd just love to get my hands on them, I can print that. Who do I get my barons from? From most of the barons we have, they've been ordered from a baron maker. There's one guy here in Japan still left making them. Two guys, one guy's sort of making them, and one guy full-time, Goto Kikuhide. This is a professional maker. We also have barons we've picked up on an auction. We've picked up old barons here and there. And some of the barons we've got are a new type. The ones we use in the party room are not the real professional home barons. They're a type called the Murasaki baron. They're really, really good for beginners. And for use like our party room, we need a good, strong, beautiful baron, but we don't need to pay, the 10,000 or whatever, the $1,000 for a real one. I was seeing that over on those prints people are making on the fan page. I'm itching now to make some comments about the barons there, and it's sort of I have to go against what I said before. when I was saying to people, you know, don't have to get special tools, just use anything you've got in the house, whatever, just go, try making some prints, you know. That works fine for your first couple of print, for the my first print level or whatever. But then after you've got a bit at this, you're making your second print, your third, you want to try get this a little better. This is really an important tool, and it can improve the color and the printing so much by having a decent baron, you know. So that's the point where I have to backtrack a little and say there's a limit as to what you can do with just anything you've got in your house level. If you really do want to make some really nice looking prints, that's non-negotiable. You know, there's sort of two things that are non-negotiable. Wood, anything, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Use a barn door. Knives for cutting, it doesn't really matter. Just cut a shape, it's okay. But paper, you need some kind of absorbent paper to give a beautiful impression of the pigment. And to be able to get that pigment in smooth, you need a decent rubbing tool. So to level up, to get things up a bit, those two things are kind of non-negotiable. So beginner level, the test level, the trial level, anything you got, it's okay, just get going. But then when you start to get interested, results are dramatically improved. Where in Germany does your brother live? He lives in a place called Bochum. Bochum. I don't know the pronunciation exactly. It's kind of, you know, we meet people from Germany here in the shop, and my brother had a sort of, he said, play a game with these people. He said, if you tell them that I live in Germany in Bochum, and then he said, if you also tell them that I'm a musician, he says they will instantly put those two things together and they will tell you exactly the name of the company that I work for, is what he said. And I've tried that with people here, you know, guests from Germany. And I don't know everybody, but half of them maybe, whatever, half of them, their faces light up and say, oh, I see, he works at such and such a place. And the other half say, I don't know. In Bochum as a musician. And then as an extra hint, he said, tell him how long I've been working there. He's been there for 25 years in the same place, playing music in the same town. And actually, he's been playing the same songs, the same music for 25 years. Playing the same music for 25 years, you know. I joked to him about that, and he says, well, you do the same thing. You do woodblock printmaking for 25, 30 years, you know. Yeah, but I don't make the same print for 25 years. Although now with the Great Wave, maybe that's going to happen. Kickstarter backer chibi embossing. Yes, yes, yes. This is the last group of chibis for this year. We'll start a new pair, I guess, in March. I have to ask John to do another pair for me. Today's Wednesday, right? So the stream for tomorrow. I have good news and bad news about tomorrow's stream. I'll be here. That's whatever the bad news or good news. Actually, that should be enough just to give you that hint. Tomorrow's stream. What will be the content of tomorrow's stream? I have good news and bad news. That probably is enough to tell you what it's going to be. Good news for our business, but bad news as far as new interesting streaming content goes. Sorry about that. Look at this. 100 people watching me do this embossing. Wow. Oh well. This is interesting or not, who knows? Can we catch it in the light? There we go. I think we got it, right? There it is. It's out of focus though. Come on, camera, do your job. There's two, one on the top print and one on the bottom print. And they come from, these are laser carved. You know, there's a limit as to how much time you want to spend on carving stuff like this. So here we are. It's just a straight laser. Actually, this print's coloring. Comment there about what coloring looks vivid. We tried to make it kind of toned and quiet. Very quiet, peaceful print, you know. And I'm not, some people didn't quite get the idea about this print. I don't know. When we asked John Amos, who's designed some stuff for us in the past, and again, we asked him to design these chibis, and he came up with this design. And the concept he was trying to get at was that, you know, Mokuhankan is this tree, moku wood, and supported by something. So the chibi supporters, you know, the Patreon supporters. So there's actually a meaning to it, which I didn't twig to at first, but what do we got left here? We got about 25 left. Just bear with me, and then we'll get some great wave work done. I've got the block next to me here, and it'll start printing again. What's today? Today's Wednesday. It starts printing on Friday. timing on that hasn't worked out well at all. You know, we've got dozens and dozens and dozens of people who are really disappointed. They wanted to get the Great Wave for Christmas, but we're out. And there was no way to schedule it faster. I hear a question, so what's this? Where's the question? Hey. Tony. It's a question about videos. I know I think 1 or 2 videos back, maybe it was not the last video, but the one before that or the one before that. I think at the close of that video, I showed a little print that was on my desk and said, here we are, we're going to be making a video about this coming up soon, real soon. And then when it came time to make the next David's Choice video, I actually forgot about what I had said. And I made the next David's Choice video about those Doyahanga prints, the ones about Kagurezaka, the 2 prints, one by Koitsu and one by Noel Noet. I had forgotten the little teaser that I had mentioned, you know, a month or something before that. I'd forgotten about it, but somebody here has not forgotten about it. And, you know, he said, you teased about this thing when you were going to have the video. So I'm not sure what to say. I'm sorry. I just honestly forgot about that. The package of prints that you're mentioning is in my cupboard here. Just when that particular one will get scheduled again, I'm not quite sure. I'm sorry. I know. I should try and remember that people take all these things quite seriously, maybe more seriously than I do. And those David's Choice videos, I have, I guess honestly, with no exaggeration, I have thousands of items that could make so much interesting content for a series like that. I mean, I have a collection, I know, just to make it clear what's happening here. My print collection is nothing that the Metropolitan or whatever would be interested in. People, real collectors, would not even look twice at my collection. Because the prints I've chosen and picked up and scrounged for over the years are not worth anything. I don't look at this stuff as being, oh my God, look at this, it's valuable. Without trying to be pretentious, that's simply not my interest. And it's also, I've never had the resources to purchase prints that are valuable. What I've done over the years, slowly, bit by bit by bit, mostly in the years before the internet, browsing in the shops downtown in Tokyo, watching the auctions, I've tried to pick up items that were, oh, look at this, there's something really interesting about this. And I've got now literally thousands of prints that are interesting in some way to a geek like myself, you know, a print geek like myself. And my God, if we had this set up here that I didn't have to do anything else, a weekly David's Choice video, grabbing one of these items from the collection, talking about it, getting people enthused about it, you know, just, will we get that far? That I will be able to spend that much time on those things. I don't know. So whatever, apologize then for leading on and teasing about that particular item and then actually replacing it with something else. I'm sorry. I wouldn't have thought people were following that carefully, but a waiting list for the Great Wave, and a back-ordered ship by date, because we don't know. I just don't know. Will I get another Cuisine print? That's what I just said. There are so many stories like that. So many episodes like that. So many prints whose stories are waiting to be told. I don't know what to say, guys. I'm just thrashing through every day, trying to get to the end of the day. The video I have to make right now, like right now, is the video announcing next year's subscription series. We still haven't opened it, talked about to people. We've got like 20 orders or something. It's a disaster. I've got to talk to people about it. Most people don't even know it's open yet. And I've got to make a video about it. But every day it's just firefighting, This shouldn't be my job. This should have been done by the printer who did this batch, Why didn't she do it? Because I forgot about it. I forgot to give her this block and forgot to ask her. So these prints went out to our shipping center last week. And luckily the woman there is smart enough. She said, Dave, you've forgotten something. So back they come. So this is all an extra step that shouldn't have had to be done, just because I'm such a bad manager. Not such a bad manager, just it's just too much going on. Thank you. Double shipping. What? No idea. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. What's the question? How is the slab of cherry looking? I mean, the big heavy ones, the two that we bought a couple of weeks ago, they're sitting here in the room, and they're just sitting there right now. I know they're just going to sit there, I guess, for around at least half a year. Maybe next fall we'll chop a piece off one of them and have a look and see how it's doing. I'm not really quite sure. That wood, you know, though those two pieces we brought in, when I looked at the size and shape in the truck there, I thought, okay, this is all right, no problem. But it turned out that it took 4 of us to get it out of the truck and up the stairs. It was so dense. So I'm thinking, you know, I don't know yet, I shouldn't promise this, but I'm thinking that we might have actually really scored a really good piece of wood that is dense enough for the key blocks. And that's been our real problem. The wood we've been buying, you know, the last year or so, the different things we've posted about, it's all been pretty lightweight stuff. But that large slab we got a couple of weeks ago, that's sitting here right in front of me now, it is extremely dense. And I shouldn't get my hopes up too high, but it could turn out that it's going to be really good for key blocks. And if it is, if it is, then there's enough, if it turns out to be good enough for key blocks, there's enough in that piece there to do me to the end. I'm 66 now. And whatever, I got a bunch of years still left of this, but that is a big, big piece of wood. We're going to slice it into 6mm slices. You know, it's hard to say because it depends on the size of the prints you make and how many you make, but that could be the piece of wood that sees me out. You know. We'll see. Way too early to think about that kind of stuff. But okay, what do we got here left? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces left, and then it's moving on to some carving. Well, you see, a good manager, I mean, no, there's different aspects to managing, eh? There's or managing or running this business or guiding this business, you know, I mean, there's many, many things wrapped in. I just said the word manager as though it was a single thing. There's many different skills involved. And one of the skills is the sort of the visionary guide, you know, who are we, where are we going, what are we doing? You know, that part, you know, no question, I'm really good at that. I've defined this place and built it and guiding it. There's another aspect about being in managing, and that's the more day-to-day stuff, you know, who's doing what and how are they doing it and how is the workflow organized and stuff like that. And that recently I am being really not so good at. And it's not that I'm not skillful or not good at it, it's that perhaps simply we're trying to do too much. The volume now has outpaced the kind of systems we have in place to handle it. Cameron is here and helping with that sort of stuff very much. He's doing all the things like the daily order processing coming in now. That's all done by him. He's answering emails for me. It's helped really tremendously. And he is doing sort of 2 things at one time. He's trying to take away those trivial jobs, not trivial jobs, but the jobs that somebody else can do. But he's also now, he's working with Aoyama-san here to move into areas that we have ignored because we didn't have the staff for them. For example, the online business for us, it's way, way over half of our business. The website, online ordering, but that's only for overseas, not for within Japan. Nobody does online shopping with us in Japan. So it's been a huge hole for us. And he and Aoyama-san have spent a great deal of time the last month building a new web presence in Japanese. And in fact, it's almost ready to fly. I think they're ready to go open later this week. And I have mixed feelings. It's great, we need it, but that's the last thing I need now is another flood of orders, especially from critical Japanese consumers. Okay, there we go. Done. It can go back to Omi for shipping. It'll be in the hands of the waiting Patreons soon. Done. Now, today's real work. Today's real work is going to be carving. Excuse me. Not the octopus. I said the great wave. I told you already. What we have here is the key block for the great wave print. This was featured in that video. What was it, a week ago, a couple of weeks ago? Here's the key block for the great wave. Our edition of it. It's now, how old is it now? I cut it like in the middle of 2015, so it's 2 years old now. It has made something in the order of 900 plus prints, finished prints. Well over 1,000 actual impressions pulled off it. And it's got some history already, a couple of things. If I don't know who knows here, who's been watching the videos or not, or whatever. Cuisine balance. Just a minute, two things at once here. When I first cut this, I was thinking in advance about how long the block would last, and the fact that looking at the old prints, the calligraphy part was the part that gave the greatest wear. Which I should go and get something there. Can you hold on a sec? I've got a prop here, which I should have prepared first. Let me go and pick up something. Hang on. I'll be back in 1 minute. Less. Yoisho. 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 Okay. Pick up story again. When we carved this, when I carved this back in the summer 2015, I was looking forward, as I said, it's a good hard cherry block, but looking at the part, the calligraphy that gives the most wear, because I was worried about wear, I took a piece of boxwood, much harder than cherry, and I inlaid it into the block at this point and cut the calligraphy on this little piece of boxwood. We then started printing. I don't have a documentation on where it was, but after maybe the first 100 copies, 150 copies, somewhere on there, I don't know, we had a problem with the inlay. I had done it really well. I had glued it down really well, but boxwood is really vigorous wood that has a mind of its own, and even though we were moistening it with the printing, it dried more than the cherry, and maybe it had been not properly dried when I chose it, and it curved this way. It started to curve like this, pulling up from the glue at the bottom. So we had calligraphy in here. This has all been talked about in one of the previous videos. We had calligraphy here, which now was no longer flat with the surface of the block and couldn't be printed. So there was only one thing to do, whatever. I drilled from the back, popped it out, put it aside, and I recarved on a separate piece of boxwood. This must be Cameron, I guess, can it? I recarved on a separate piece of boxwood the same calligraphy. And that block now, it's over at the printer's place. It's a small little block with just this little bit of calligraphy carved on it. And what the printer does is he prints the key block first without the calligraphy, then puts the sky, puts the blue, puts everything in, and the sky has an empty space in it, and he then prints using the separate little block. Go on, Cameron, Sam.
Morning.
The final calligraphy. So there are actually two versions of our Great Wave that are out there. Well, there's three versions. There's the original Kickstarter group that has numbering on them. They had the original calligraphy. Then there's the group that followed the Kickstarter group with the original calligraphy before it warped on me. Then there's a little gap, and then there's the third type, which we're issuing now, which are the ones with no numbers, no Kickstarter embossing, and they have the new calligraphy. And to a casual casual viewer, the two versions would look exactly the same. But if you drill down with the magnifying glass or your microscope, you'll see tiny differences in the calligraphy. So at some future time when people are digging around and doing their what's
what
the word?
edition is this one?
So what edition is this? How early is this or whatever? Then they will have to distinguish between the ones. And I suppose, I don't care about this, but I suppose those ones with the first calligraphy, they're going to be the ones, whatever, that go to the auction house, the museums, whatever. So. Anyway, that's the story about the calligraphy. Today, I know we're easy today. Ome is off today. There's nobody in
no
Ome.
rush to send things over.
Did I let out a big secret? We won't be shipping today. Orders are going to be delayed one day. Because of our Ome staff. It's two ladies working in Ome, and they both worked late last night.
Really?
It's because I was there. This is Japan. The boss hasn't left, so
we can't leave.
We can't leave. It's not like that because they got family waiting. It just there was so many owl orders and so many. It's just they're doing a really, really good job. They're going to get that little. They're really good.
That's great. Yeah. I'm glad they're doing so well.
She's going to let me know today what format she would like. I chatted with her about it yesterday.
Good.
So, to make it best for her, she's going to talk to her husband, and maybe it'll be the same as everybody else, or maybe they would like
something.
And she will give me the Amazon card or something.
Great. I'm glad to hear that she's happy about it.
Actually, can you ride herd for a little bit here if I get the stuff out of the way?
Yeah.
Because I would like to just sort of actually focus on doing I got some pretty detailed work here to do for a couple of minutes, so I'd like to focus on that.
Okay.
So if I can ask Cameron to sit down. Let me just, this thing's a tiny bit loose on this side, so. Where you go. Off the floor. Okay. Good, thanks very much. Okay.
Good morning. It's cold. Hi, good morning. I'm going to jump back and see what questions and things have built up. Have you been copying lately, or should I do that?
Do a copy. Do a copy. Okay. Still haven't got a script for that.
Okay. Ooh, let's see.
And I need to explain what I'm doing here. Actually, I haven't done that yet. Why is this block back, and what am I about to do with this?
Restarting the wave. No.
I know it's doing really well. In that last video, we talked about the fact that it's really held up really, really well. But a couple of places where there's very fine lines, it started to get so that the ink, the pigment, fills in between the lines. And the printer, Yamamoto-san, who's been working on this, he's asked me, Dave, just please, a couple of places, widen it out, pop out those holes a little bit so that the pigment doesn't block so much in there.
Yeah.
And he told me here and here and here. So I've got to identify a couple of these places where the pigment is, what's the word? I don't know.
Spreading? I don't know.
It just, we call tamari in Japanese. It's
overlapping?
The glue fills in the small holes a little bit too much. So.
Okay. Live in Japan. Chocolate lime doesn't manage bacon. U.S. chocolate. U.S. chocolate isn't great either. Sorry, U.S. folks.
Chocolate? What are they?
Why are they talking about chocolate? I don't know, but I think it's funny. Okay. So he's getting ready, and I'm catching up on the chat. So give me a moment here. Someone put quotes around their own statement. Is this a Dave Bull original? This image.
Well, it depends what it means by original, So I didn't draw it. Everybody in the world knows that. But I carved. I drew, the original hokusai. But before I could carve it, I had to trace it. So I traced every single line, and not just blindly tracing.
Right.
Carefully, tastefully trying to detail, because it was blue on blue.
Right.
Oh.
Was the microscope out for that too?
No, that was on the iPad Pro.
Oh, okay. Wow. Nice. Those ladies deserve a Christmas bonus check. They're Owler taking the business. Say overtaking the business, but the owls. It's funny. Get the camera on, Cameron. Oh, is the camera off? Oh no, that was a while ago. Okay. Morning. Hi everyone. I see. Thank you. Ordered my owl print. Thank you. 3 even. Is that how you say that? Yay! We've
We're caught up with
so
owl
coming.
shipping at the moment. Except for the ones came in last night,
Right.
which are not done. Every order that came in up to yesterday around noon
Wow.
has gone. They shipped everything. We are +8 now.
Wow.
But overnight has taken care of that.
Oh,
so
no.
we are now just about 0, which means tonight, paper wet for me. Tomorrow morning's stream is going to be
Owls again.
owl printing,
Okay. Hope everyone's looking forward to that. Tamari. Oh, there we go. Got someone put in the kanji for us. Tamari. To pile or pool. Collection. Gathering spot. Or in sumo, a waiting place for a wrestler beside the ring.
Really? No idea what that is. Is that the same thing?
It looks like the same kanji. Cool. Owl, owl, owl. Oh no, the owls never stop. Yep, sounds about right. So, good morning, everyone. I finally caught up. I think I got everything. Not too many questions today, it looks like. Have you seen any question emails I should jump back and look for?
I didn't hear. There was one which I answered, but
okay.
I haven't heard the sound since then. But I'm talking so much, maybe I didn't hear them.
Okay. Never enough owls on Twitch. I'm gonna go check the email just in case, see if there's anything.
Is the video here in the right place? Am I in the? I can't see anymore. So am I on the
Yeah.
screen properly? It's all right.
Yeah. Okay. See there. Can it zoom any closer? That's cool. How long have I lived in Japan? About 3.5 years. And was in the countryside, now a lot closer to the city, and it's been a big change, but a nice change. The nearest 7-Eleven is like a 3-minute walk instead of a 20-minute drive, so that's good because everything is far away. That's good. How is it working for Dave? It's great.
What, with you being here, you mean?
Yeah. Or no, he's asking me, I think. How's it me working
It's okay. I'll keep quiet.
for you?
Okay. I'm gonna pretend I'm not here. So
Okay.
we won't talk about the toilet episode.
Thanks.
We won't.
It's been really good. There's always a lot to do. Always new things coming up. It's always exciting. I don't get bored. So it's good. Let's see. Yeah. Let's see. Is it true in Japanese work culture that if your boss doesn't like you, he or she will overwork you until you quit?
You're talking about corporate life, really,
Yeah,
I guess, right? So,
I think so. But I feel like everyone gets overworked, and then they don't.
How can
quit.
you tell?
And they still don't quit. I've just talked with lots of people, and of course read about work life in Japan and worked in Japan, but always in much smaller companies that aren't, I don't know, companies that are open up all night long and stuff. So I haven't worked in like normal corporate Japan, but what is let's see. So I don't know if they overwork you until you quit or just overwork
Whatever. I mean,
everyone.
there's normal companies and there's black companies and there's friendly companies. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a complete spectrum, same as there would be in any country.
Yeah.
A few things here are sort of classic parts of the culture. The thing about, people all the desks in a row and nobody can leave, that sort of thing.
Yep.
But there are now companies that are actively trying to change things and break that down.
That's true.
And what's common in corporate Japan and what's common in small scale companies is different.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In small companies, it's more of a human scale, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very much dependent on the character of the guy running the place.
Yeah.
Whereas in a large corporation, there's a corporate culture that's grown over the years, which is almost immutable and unchangeable.
Mm-hmm.
But in a small company, the way my personality really colors this place, and
Yeah.
that's the same in any company.
Mm-hmm.
Same as it would be anywhere else.
Yep. I think so. Okay. Let's see. I think I lost my spot. If you don't mind me asking, what aspects of Japan do you enjoy more than other places you've lived? For me.
You're still so young.
Yeah, I'm still so young. I don't know. visited several other places, but only lived in the U.S. or Japan, really. So I don't know. I feel like everyone's friendly. Yeah, friendly, but not invasive. I feel like sometimes in other cultures, people can try to really get into your business, but in Japan, people kind of let people be, but everyone's courteous and kind, and the service is wonderful. We talked a week ago or so about how the service can be too good, that again, people are getting overworked and doing too many things. You can call for a redelivery anytime you want, and it's not nice because these people are already working crazy hours for not great wages, and then they get calls. Yeah, can you redeliver my package at 8:30 tonight?
Those guys are getting paid well, you know.
Are they getting paid pretty well? Okay, that's good. Where do we go? I don't know. So it's good. I just like living out here. It's I feel like it's stretched me as a person. Now that sounds crazy, but made me try to learn to communicate in another language.
Yeah, but that's not Japan. That's just simply being out of your home country.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a Japan-specific thing. It's a moved away from home kind of thing.
Oh, is this visible on the stream? This little thing here?
The straight line?
There's a plug here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I talked about it before. You know. When I was carving this block, this isn't damage that happened later, but when I was carving it, coming down this line, it turned out there was a fault in the wood underneath, and this thing popped out here.
Oh no!
So I dug a trench right through here, put a chunk of wood inside it, and carved back. You know. And same thing though. This piece of wood now is aging at a different way than the other wood. You can see it's shrunk a little bit. There's a tiny little gap here now. Mm-hmm. I got to decide: do I actually plug the plug, or this is microscopic? You know.
Yeah.
When you look back on the last batch of copies, I can't see it. So the pigment has filled in that line, you know.
So the tamari is working in your favor.
So I'm going to leave it alone and just make sure it's straight, but not play around too much with this. So.
Cool.
But that's another sign. As the years go by, this point will be one of those places that people will point to. Oh, look, here's where it's aging. You know?
Yeah.
So.
See, Cameron, got family visiting Japan in the Tokyo area. Any suggestion for what they must see? Come to Asakusa.
Do a print party?
Yeah, do a print party. But also there's the great Sensoji temple that lots of people come to see. It's really beautiful.
We say family. Who are you talking about? You're talking about elderly
cousin
parents or whatever. You know what? You know.
Yeah, cousin and his lady are visiting Japan. So.
Depends what they're interested in. You know?
Yeah.
There's so much to see and do here.
There is so much to see and do. It really depends on what you're interested in. Some people are more interested in historical side or seeing temples and shrines. Some people want to go shop. Some people want to go see the electronics district, the Akihabara or Akiba area.
In our field, if you would like to see some nice art, things like Japanese prints, whatever, the must-see place is the Ota Museum down in Harajuku.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's called the Ota Memorial Museum. And they do a rotating exhibition every 3 months, and it is always beautifully prepared and interesting. And it's not overwhelming. You know, sometimes you go to a museum and there's like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of things.
Yeah.
This just has about 30 to 40 items on at any one time.
So it's not a whole day exhibition?
No. It's a couple of hours, few hours. Very peaceful, very nice, not overwhelming, beautifully presented. There could be a bit better English explanation, but there is some. Nice. And if you're looking at, you just want to find a nice place to see some enjoyable Japanese prints without being overwhelmed by it all, that's the place to go.
Cool. Thanks. There's a great suggestion if you're looking for Japanese art, and if you're on here, it sounds like at least you're interested in it. Not sure about your cousin, but let's see. What else? There's so much in Yokohama, so not a half hour, 40 minutes, depending on where in Tokyo they are. Over in Yokohama, there's a lot of stuff to see too. I like going to the Chinatown out there. It's really fun. Good food, a lot of Chinese buffets. But,
is that place where they had one place with all the different ramenya like a food court
I think
traditional
so.
ramen. I think it's still there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think probably is. There's also a ramen museum.
Maybe that's the same place I'm thinking
Yeah,
about. I
it
don't
could
know.
be that. So it's yeah, it's a good place. Lots of food. Black companies, and then a picture of a black man. No, that's not what it means. It's a Japanese slang term almost. I don't know. Japanese English term. What do they call it? Wasei-eigo. It's like black company are the companies that don't treat their employees like human beings.
No, I
Essentially,
mean, don't we say that in English? Not black in anything to do with racist terms.
Yeah.
Simply black as in not good. I'm a black and white black.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in the West, because of the racist connotations, that expression might have disappeared. I don't
Yeah.
know. A blear, black mood, right?
Yep.
It's nothing to do with racist.
Right.
It's down and heavy and dark and
Yeah.
gloomy. So,
Mm-hmm.
so they talk about burak kaisha.
yeah,
You know, it simply means a terrible, gloomy, awful, depressing
Awful
place,
place
to
to
work.
work,
So,
yeah.
you know, so.
yep. So, let's see. Cameron, have you ever thought of growing a Dave beard for the mature look? And then someone else jumped in. Is that a requirement to work at Mokuhankan? No, I don't think so.
I don't think I want the competition.
I don't want the competition.
And anyway, good luck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and my beard actually among people who do beards, you know, my beard is not a good beard. You know, it's scraggly. I never cut it, but it doesn't grow any longer than this because they fall out.
Oh,
So it's not. I haven't cultured it, groomed it, trimmed it. It's
Yeah.
just this is what I get when I don't actually do the shaving thing in the
Yeah.
morning. So this is not a beard to be proud of or something. It's just simply I'm sort of too lazy to do that morning stuff, you know. So really, among people who are beard connoisseurs and whatever, this is not, you know, a beard worthy of note. It's just simply,
just a natural beard.
yeah, whatever. So.
Okay. Guys. Someone's complimenting you. I'm just in awe of how steady your hands are. It's those fine, fine lines are.
But also too, there's not. I mean, maybe you can describe what's happening. I'm
Yeah.
supported. I mean, there's nothing freehand here.
Right. Yeah,
My
you're-
right hand's on the block, my left hand's on the block, my thumb's on the block, and by the time the knife hits this thing, it's supported 1, 2, 3, like 5
Yeah,
places.
you're
here.
braced in
so-
there, not
so-
just cutting freehand or anything.
I mean, I am steady. If I hold my hand up, it does. I'm pretty good at that. You know, my hand isn't shaking or whatever. So
Right.
But the actual point of cutting, there's no freehand work here
Yeah.
at all involved. You know, nothing.
Let's see. Jumping back. Good luck, Sylvian, on your math exam. Sorry, I'm way behind, I think. So I'm going to bed. The temple is beautiful at night, but he got to Asakusa too late and the shop was already closed.
As you mean.
Yeah, someone tried to come over here. What time do you come by? We're usually closed around 5:30 is when you
It
start.
depends who's on. Some of the people like just they watch the clock, and as soon as 5:30 comes, bang, that's it.
Just
Like,
the door's locked, I'm out of
whatever.
here.
I mean, it depends. Teiko-san does that, but she's got like a 2-hour commute, so if she doesn't
Right.
get out of here, he misses her
She
dinner.
gets
or
home
whatever.
late,
So, you know.
yeah.
So she's not a clock watcher in the lazy sense. She's a clock watcher in the practical sense.
Right.
Well, like you're doing. You've got
Yeah.
your train to catch. You know, so.
Yep. Yeah.
So the official times are 10 to 5:30. It depends on who's here. We might be here a bit later. And for example, today, Shiba-san's the staff. She would never, ever, ever close the door if there are people around or what's going on. You know?
Oh, yeah.
She would just be here till midnight. But for her, it's simple. She's a single girl, whatever, and just, you know.
And she doesn't live too far away, right?
She lives in Ome.
Oh, she lives in Ome
Yes.
too? So she's got a 2-hour
she's got a
commute as
2.5
well. She just
hour
doesn't
commute.
care.
But it's not that she doesn't care. It's a question of the way they feel different responsibilities. She's a bit more traditional.
Okay.
She's a bit more, whatever, just the
Yeah.
personalities and characters are different. You know, so.
And yep. And then Tuesdays it's closed. So if you're coming to Tokyo,
Yeah, I feel so bad about what I saw last Tuesday. You know, I was in the cafe across the street, and the 1 hour I was in the cafe eating lunch, 3 groups of people came, tried the door, and walked away. You know,
yeah.
should I put my lunch aside and run out there and help them? I thought, Dave, just please,
eat.
just please, just have your lunch. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Didn't Dave go there? Probably Sensoji with NHK once. Oh, probably more than once. But yeah, you've been on TV recently over in
In Sensoji,
or walking
the
nearby.
recent one with NHK, that didn't go to we went to Higashi Honganji actually.
Okay.
We're showing the Hokusai print and the temple shape. That wasn't NHK. But that wasn't done by Sensoji.
Yeah.
There's a question there.
Okay.
But I did do a program at Sensoji, and in fact, I brought it back from Ome last week.
Really?
I've got the.
Is it
Now we've got the new Drobo drive. I want to dump all the old video on there.
Oh, that would be
I've
great.
got all the TV programs from going back since 1989.
Wow.
And I was just, as I was looking through those discs, these are not DVDs, these are, ripped videotape.
Oh, wow.
But it's only like, what is it, 640?
Yeah.
Well, that's all it is.
VHS is not high resolution.
And one of them, there was one of the TV programs, they brought me down to the area, Shitamachi area, to talk about the printmaking in the old days. And there's a video clip there. I don't remember doing this, but there it is on the video. We're in Nakamise, starting at one end of it, and the cameramen are walking backwards.
Wow.
And I'm walking forwards, and it's a pouring rainy day. I've got this umbrella. I mic'd up, and they asked me to talk about the history of Japanese woodblock printmaking.
Wow.
And this is like 20 odd years ago. My Japanese is really, really kind of, to hear it now, this is the word cringeworthy just comes to mind. Whatever, it was as good as what I could do at the moment.
Right.
But to hear it now is, oh my God. And somehow we got talking about shunga. So I'm walking down the Nakamise with all this stuff going on and gaggles, talking about the position of erotic art in Japanese history, And oh, Dave, just shut up,
Dave, just...
So these are on tape, and they're all. I brought them. The discs are all in the bag, and I'm going to dump them into the Drobo. And maybe I'd do some highlight embarrassing rules because this is so old now. There's no copyright and stuff on it.
I don't think it would be a problem at all.
But there's me in Asakusa 20 plus years ago.
Yeah.
Jesus. If I could have imagined one day that I would actually live here.
Yeah.
I would have just, if you'd have said that, I would have just said, like, what have you been smoking?
Yeah. Okay, people have asked. Oh, jumping back to. Anyway, here we go. NHK is kind of like BBC, except a lot of Japanese people would prefer not to pay.
The local NHK, yeah.
Yeah, jumping to NHK. As they claim to not watch NHK, it's not the most interesting of channels, unless Dave's on it. But,
well, maybe they're talking about the different thing. I'm on NHK World for the most part. These are international programs. The people paying the fees and stuff. This is the local NHK.
Yeah.
It's a national broadcaster. If I had a choice, I think their financing should just be rolled into taxes like it is in Britain with the BBC. BBC is state TV, and everybody who pays taxes, you pay for it out of general revenue.
Yeah.
But NHK, the government set up a different system where people are supposed to actually pay a license fee for having a television.
Right.
Which I think it was like that in Britain back in the 1950s or 60s.
Oh, wow.
You had to license your television.
Interesting.
And that fee paid for the broadcaster, which at the time was only BBC, back in the beginning, 1954 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Japan followed that pattern, and it doesn't make any sense in the modern era for every household to have to pay a license fee to have a television in their house.
Right.
But they can't, it's so difficult to break away from the pattern that's already been established.
Yep.
So we have a situation now where many, many people, huge numbers of people, millions of people are not paying the fee.
Right.
And NHK needs the money to run because that's their financing. So they've sued some people a number of times, and they win every time. But they can't sue the
entire country.
And the court has said, hi, NHK must force Mr. Suzuki, and Mr. Suzuki must pay. That was one lawsuit for one man, not a general
group of population.
So NHK is still stuck in this thing.
Wow. Oh, it sounds like in Denmark and the UK they are still doing it this way.
Maybe so, whatever. I know nothing about it. So speak up. People who know about this, please speak up. So, in Britain, you mean? Denmark and...
Yep, and the UK, it says, for BBC.
So what is the deal? Every household or every box has to have a, how does it work, It
says, we need a license in the UK.
But per television set, per household, per person,
Someone jump in, help us out.
Because you're watching it now on your smartphone and stuff like that,
That's what I was wanting to. Every household in Denmark, at least, is someone saying. And then looks like UK also household. So per household they do it.
So irrespective of how many people are living there or how many sets or if they're watching it on their smartphone on the way to work on the train, I mean, it gets really complicated out here.
Yeah, that's interesting. Oh, Germany too, they pay a TV tax. As long as you have a computer of sorts, you've got
A computer.
Pay. Wow.
A computer.
Wow.
Because the Japanese one doesn't do that.
Yeah. Huh.
It's an actual television set.
Yeah.
However that's defined, I don't know.
Right. Because now there's so many varieties of monitors. Like maybe that's how they do it. It's, oh, your computer has a monitor. It's got a screen.
It's a tune, eh?
Right. Yeah. Okay. The ABC in Australia is taxpayer funded, not by licenses. It's just in the taxes.
That's the thing. That makes the most common sense, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, I'm gonna jump back a little bit. Let's see. Curious what Chinese food is like in Japan, given it's not really very Chinese in the U.S. And then someone else saying, coming from America, we have towns inside our cities like Chinatown, Little Italy, Little Tokyo, things like that. So what are those like in Japan? I think those two questions can kind of go together with the Chinatown in Yokohama. Have you been there?
No.
Oh, no.
But those are sort of real Chinese restaurants, right? They're not
yeah.
Japanified Chinese food.
Right,
I mean, the
those
American thing, the chop suey and chicken chow
that's
mein,
true.
whatever, this is a totally... Chinese
Americanized
people wouldn't
version
recognize
of
it.
Yeah,
So.
that's
And
true.
the same thing exists in Japan. Ramen.
Oh, yeah, ramen.
That's Japanified Chinese food, but nobody looks at it that way, you know.
Yeah, it's true. Now it's viewed as a
Gyoza.
Japanese food. Gyoza is pretty similar to Chinese
What it is,
dumplings. What are they? Jiaozi or something like that. And they're
But the point being, people
yeah,
think that's Japanese food. It's not. It's Chinese food.
Yeah.
But that's
imported and changed.
and localized. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Let's see. But so the Chinese food in Japan depends. There are Chinese restaurants run by Chinese people, or in Chinatown. They're pretty authentic. They're quite close to Chinese food in China. And then there's, as Dave was just saying, Japanese food that's
stuff,
really
yeah.
imported and
Localized, yeah.
just localized food like the ramen and gyoza and fried rice called chahan. That's I think often includes some Japanese vegetables.
But you don't find here the kind of Chinese food that you find in North America, like I said, the chop suey, whatever. I
Yeah,
don't know,
and they're really, really sweet ones, like, I don't know what they call it, General Tso's chicken or something, and orange chicken is not, I don't think I've ever seen that on a menu in Japan. It's good, but, and then the towns in Japan, the only one I've been to is the Chinatown in Yokohama, and it's all Chinese people, Chinese shops, Chinese restaurants. It feels a lot like the Chinatown I've been to in San Francisco. But other ones, I've heard that there's a Koreatown or Little Seoul. I'm not sure what they call it.
Oh, here.
But I'm not sure if it's
north of Shinjuku,
as big of a tourist.
No, not at
draw
all.
as
It's
the other one.
just real people just living there.
Yeah, it's just a neighborhood of Korean people living here.
With totally authentic foods. And also the restaurants around here are, for the most part, Korean. You know, the hoppidori and stuff. These are Korean people serving Korean food.
Yeah.
Japanese bar food is, to a huge extent, Korean food.
Imported and localized.
Yeah.
Cool. So I hope that kind of answers a little bit. Let's see. Okay. Are there any all-you-can-eat restaurants in Japan?
Yes,
We're talking
of course,
food. Plenty of
of
them.
course, of course.
There's
Not my style. I don't do that. But
Yeah.
just down the street, above the donkey store, on the 5th floor up there, 5th floor donkey next to Saizeria. There's a tabe hodai, nomi hodai.
you can do all-you-can-eat and all-you-can-drink.
Whether they quake when a Westerner folk comes in the door, I don't know. there's plenty of Japanese guys who would, make them shudder when they come in there. But they're everywhere. If the expression to look for is called tabe hodai.
Yeah.
And what's more common is nomi hodai.
Yeah.
2 hours, all you can drink.
Yeah. Anything. Yeah. It's true. And I always disappointed when looking for a tabe hodai restaurant, so all you can eat, because don't drink, and so when they often come with
course.
all you can eat and all you can drink, and I'm like, half the price of this is the drinks. I just want to eat a bunch. Give me a big glass of water or soda or something, and save half the price and get more food. But a lot of them come with all you can eat and all you can drink. But there are some with one or the other. So it depends on where you go. There a lot though. So if you come here, look for tabe hodai. Oh, there we go. Someone wrote it out with the kanji and the hiragana, everything. Great. They also sometimes call it a Vikinger.
Yes.
And
which is, of course, Scandinavian.
Yes.
It doesn't smorgasbord, whatever. So.
Yep. Oh, yeah, and that's what he's got in the translation. And
is that used anywhere in the West? Viking? Go to a Viking restaurant. It wouldn't make any sense, would it? To me, I can't remember anymore. You know?
Yeah, I've heard a story, but everyone claims to be the originator of it, of course. But one of the funny stories I've thought of is, or I've heard told, was a hotel here in Tokyo decided, probably back in the 60s or something, to open their own big buffet, their own big all-you-can-eat restaurant to draw in new customers. And as I think has been mentioned before, using English in advertising or using non-Japanese words in advertising is considered really cool. It's just a way to stand out. So they were trying to think of a way to name their restaurant to stand apart, to look different, and thought, all right, who eats a lot? Vikings. Vikings eat a lot of food.
It's not this. Just a minute. It's not the Scandinavian connection. We would say this is a smorgasbord, right? Which is Swedish or whatever. It's Scandinavian.
I'm not sure. This is the story I've heard, but that could very well be the actual story. Or both connecting. Really. Yeah.
So it wasn't because it was Scandinavian way of serving food. It was because it was...
Vikings eat a lot of food.
Really?
Is what I've heard. I can't support it with some historical study or anything, but... It's, I remember thinking it was really fun. Oh, there's some odd static. Is there anything?
The mic is sitting right there.
Is it still going on? Can you hear okay? But, let's see. Okay. But yeah, that's the funny story I've heard. I don't know if it's totally true, but it makes for a funny story. Who eats a lot? Vikings eat a lot. Let's call it that. And then it spread. So it's not just used at one hotel in Tokyo. It's
this is back in the 60s or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How would Dave describe kawaii? What does that mean? I don't know. Like, what is kawaii? Culture? What is... Or kawaii images?
I'm not sure what.
I'm not sure what you're asking. So, give us some more. Yakitori, someone. That one's good. I don't think it's usually an all-you-can-eat thing, but yakitori is basically chicken kebabs. But they're only a couple hundred, or 100 yen, sometimes less, sometimes 200 or 300 per kebab. Skewer. That's the right word. Yeah. So you can still eat a lot. For a pretty low price. No, I haven't checked the question inbox. I'll jump to that. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
Get sidetracked by...
Doing something actually relevant to what you're doing.
Good.
Okay. During your last Great Wave video, I noticed that one of the boats had a white area without the yellow colors on. See attachment. Is it part of the design? Do you want to see this picture?
Had a white area.
Or, if you hand me that, I can point it out to you. Maybe you can see. I'm just afraid of disconnecting it.
I think we're good here. Is this... What are we talking about here? Just a minute. This corner?
Yep, that's the corner.
Is that white? I can't quite see the yellow. We've kept the yellow so faint. It could be that there's an area of yellow missing. Maybe. Yeah, it could be. That's a Patreon joining.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Maybe. I didn't notice it or haven't thought about it or whatever. Yeah, there could be a bit of white here where the yellow is supposed to come up into this area. But because we've kept the yellow so faint, it doesn't show brightly.
Yeah.
Maybe. Is that a mistake? Maybe. I don't have the color blocks with me, so I can't tell. But
Just the key block over there.
yeah. But it's quite possible. As usual, Twitch has again found mistakes and putting me down here.
There you go. Dun, dun, dun. Time to recall all the great waves.
Recall them. This is Japan, right? And then Chacho, I have to do the bowing thing right in front of the table or whatever. So,
oh no,
give me a break. I forgot what I was doing. Where am I? Yeah, it might be a mistake. Sorry, I don't remember if I noticed it and passed on it, or if I never noticed it. I don't know. I'm noticing it now, so I humbly bow my head in apology.
To use the term Bob Ross uses, it's a happy little accident.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good. I got to start learning the language here, you know. So.
It's a happy little accident. Oh, that's great. Someone said, just don't get the chicken skin skewer, but
I like those, actually.
Yeah, I didn't like the idea of it when I first moved to Japan, but now I love chicken skin. I think it's great. If you can get it nice and crispy, it's really good, but I don't know how they are in the
my girlfriend doesn't eat that stuff, so I get to eat them all. You know?
You get all the extra chicken skin?
Yeah, so.
Nice. It's a security feature.
What's that?
I'm not sure how that works, but sounds like maybe the little white spots a security feature. That way they can tell it's your print, not a forgery or something. Not a forgery or whatever. And someone else saying, yeah, it looks like it could be a spot of sea foam as well flying over the ship. Who knows?
Well, I'm not going to make that excuse, but whatever.
How many owl prints can I exchange for my flawed great wave? Dun dun dun. Nah, I don't think it's flawed. I think it's beautiful. But let's see. One big negative to living in Japan is having to wait a half a year extra for movies. I'd buy movies on iTunes and watch them on my iPad while they're just coming out in the cinema in Japan. We do that a lot too at my house. But Japan is getting Star Wars. This is here. Now you can focus because I'm changing the conversation. The Star Wars, the new Last Jedi, is coming out officially the same day, December 15th, as the rest of the world. But because of time zones, we're actually getting it much earlier. And because it's not very popular here, we were able to get first day tickets without any problem at all. So that's what we're gonna do this weekend, my family. So I'm excited. But usually movies have to wait.
You're gonna get on the net and tell all the spoilers. Then is that the idea?
Yeah, 8 hours before everyone else. No, but it's kind of lucky. Tell us spoilers, Cameron. No, I'm not gonna. Not gonna ruin the movie. I mean, I haven't seen it.
That comment about that Japan gets movies behind everybody else, they're speaking presumably of American movies, right?
Right.
When it comes to Japanese movies,
they come out much earlier. If they go out at all anywhere.
Whatever.
Else. I don't. Yeah, but Hollywood movies, they tend to come out quite a bit later here. It's true. But let's see. Because of the color on the wood, it looks like you're carving metal. Because of how dark it is.
Mm-hmm. It's almost that hard, but whatever.
Yeah. Advice, don't stream Star Wars on Twitch. Yeah, bad idea.
Oh, that kid that did the fight a month or so ago. There was some kind of fight, I don't know, WBC or some kind of fight.
Okay.
It was a pay-to-play boxing sort of a thing. And some little kid had the bright idea, he fired up his Twitch channel.
And turned it to the TV.
Yes, but he pretended he was playing a video game. This is how he got around it. He sat in one corner pushing imaginary buttons on a piece of stuff. And as they were punching like this, he's going like this, boom, boom, and making a commentary. Yeah, that was a viral thing, a totally famous viral thing about a month or so ago. I don't know whether he got slammed for it or whatever. I don't know, but
Yeah.
So he broadcast this pay-for-play thing,
Oh, my
pretending
goodness.
it was a video game.
Wow. Funny idea, but not not a great idea. I'm gonna jump back. I feel like there was another question. What are scams tourists should watch out for when visiting Tokyo or Asakusa? I haven't encountered any.
This is Japan.
That's what
Tourist scams?
I've heard they happen in Roppongi when people go to bars all night long.
Okay, no. Don't go anywhere near the Nigerian touts in Roppongi. Keep away from those guys. Absolutely. They're after males, so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's it. The only place in Japan, period, where you're going to be in any kind of, quote, danger, unquote, is Kabukicho and Roppongi, those two places.
Kabukicho, too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Roppongi's worse,
Yeah.
Oh, geez, no. But anywhere else in Japan, there's no other scams. It's just the sex touts,
Yeah.
Spike your drink, grab your credit card.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not playing that kind of game, then there's nothing anywhere that's going to bother you.
Yeah.
Literally, it's the kind of country where they give you the bill at the end, and you don't know how the money is. You hold out your handful of cash, and they pick out what they
they'll
want
pull out
from
the
it,
coins that you need. Like, okay, and then it's this one and this one. It's,
I mean, in a Yakuza bar or whatever, they get the famous, if you drink at a Yakuza bar, the woman gives you a little slip of paper which says 25,250 yen on it. You've had 2 drinks, whatever. And you pay this, and the guy
like
sits down,
$250.
and one big dude sits on each side of you, and you look around, and you pay it, and you get out,
Wow.
But other than Yakuza bars or those Nigerian touts, which are a scourge on Tokyo, that's it. You're okay, Unless you're playing bad games and doing things, dealing with people you shouldn't be dealing
Right.
with.
Yeah. But if you're just
For a normal
doing
person,
general
no.
tourist stuff,
There's
seeing
nothing.
sites, there's not much.
That's the other thing. We have this conversation almost every day here in the print parties. People come for an afternoon print party. They just had lunch or whatever. Or they're in the morning party. Where should we go for lunch?
Yeah.
And because this is a heavy tourist area, a number of people thinking we shouldn't eat around here. We should go somewhere else to have lunch. You don't have lunch. Like when you're in Paris, you don't eat in the cafe in front of the Arc de Triomphe or whatever. Or in Rome, you don't eat at a cafe next to the Colosseum. Because
Right.
these are the
tourist traps.
Tourist traps.
Yeah.
And here in Japan, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
You can eat in some cafe right next to Sensoji Temple or right next to Kaminanimo, the ultimate tourist thing, and you're going to get wonderful service for a reasonable price.
Yeah. Wonderful service, wonderful food.
Yeah, and it's just the omotenashi. It's just something in the DNA.
Yeah.
The idea of scamming a tourist because they're not going to come back and they're not going to have a chance to complain, it just doesn't fly here.
Yeah. I've not experienced it, but there are some places that provide snacks at your table and not mention that you have to pay for them, and they're
That's
not free.
common. It's common. It's table service.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 250 yen, 300 yen. It's all over the place.
Okay.
No, that's not a scam. It's not for tourists. That's everybody. In any kind of crowded bar, not all crowded bars, but a crowded bar,
Yeah.
there will be a table charge, and it comes in the form of a small little dish of food that comes with your first beer.
Got it.
And what's the Japanese word for it? I've forgotten.
Tsumami?
No, tsumami is something you would actually order. Whatever. This is there's a word for the. Help us stream, please. I forgot.
Yeah,
it's because I don't hang out in bars very much. It's not,
Yeah, it's not something we do. Who's he talking to? Yeah, in bars, the small plate of food, a snack that you get with your first drink. Any idea what that's called?
In Japanese. I forget the name for it.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
杉さん、good morning, good morning. ちょっと日本語教えてください。日本語実際言葉ちょっと出てこないですから、居酒屋とか、とりあえず生、生出てくる。それから小さな食べ物も入ってますね。300円くらいになりますけど、メニューにない。なんていうものですか？お通し、ビンゴ Thank you very much, thank you very much, thank you very much.
ありがとうございます。
Table charge ね、とか、そう。
Okay. Otoshi. Thank you. Writing it down for us too. I don't know exactly what this means, but whenever someone comes in, Dave turns into a rap god. I guess because you start speaking Japanese and they think you're rapping? I don't know. I don't know.
Whatever, I can speak Japanese.
Yeah. You've lived here and a while. Makes sense.
Well, it's not great Japanese. It's not culture Japanese, but neither is it street Japanese.
Right. Yeah. You haven't seen says it means you speak quickly and speak so fast, so that's why.
You have to, and that's one, you're learning this too, if you try and speak Japanese slowly, it doesn't work. I did that Ghibli video in Japanese to a script, and it's god-awful. And people have been, it went on Reddit said, oh my God, he's been living here for 30 years, how come his Japanese is so cringeworthy? It's because I was reading a script and trying to speak slowly and carefully. And for a Japanese can do that, but as a foreigner, I can't smoothly do that because it's such an artificial format. But when you forget what you're doing and just talk to somebody, it's okay,
Yeah, speeds up.
So my daily Japanese is not, I think, cringeworthy, but my trying to do a presentation like that ended up not being very smooth and natural.
Got it.
So. And there's something else that is a really important lesson to learn. And I haven't totally internalized this yet, but whenever I get in trouble, I try and remember it. When we come here first, we've studied a bit of Japanese overseas. We come here, we start to speak to Japanese people, and there's a huge difference in whatever the English that I grew up with and Japanese. And in English, every word that's more than one syllable has some emphasis on one of the syllables. Syllable, not syllable. Syllable, syllable.
Yeah.
We do this without thinking about it. Japanese doesn't do this. Then on top of this, every sentence we say, without exception, has an emphasis on some word.
Yeah.
The door is open. The door is open.
Yeah.
The door is open. It changes the meaning depending on how emphasized. And Japanese doesn't do that.
Right.
So we learn our Japanese and we come here and say, Watashi wa Kanada-jin desu. We emphasize these things. So they hear hear the emphasis, but they don't hear your pronunciation. Oh my God, he's speaking English to me. Oh, I don't speak English. So if you're in trouble, what you do is you flip the mental switch that says, I am going to talk like a robot with no emphasis. And when you try this with your Japanese, watashi wa Kanada-jin desu, they can understand you instantly.
Yep.
So any beginner at Japanese, please try and develop a robot switch.
Yep.
Now, probably when I talked to Suga-san today, I don't know. I was probably still, because I'm still not so good at this. I probably had too much emphasis in this, but she's okay. She's flying with it because that's just my foreign accent.
Yeah.
But if you really try and think, how can I make my Japanese get better? Flip the robot switch. In English, it sounds really stupid to talk like this, but in Japanese, this is how people talk all the time.
Yeah.
It'll make your Japanese sound much more natural.
Yeah. Japanese are robots. Got it.
You see my point, though. I mean, you've studied in school.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if they talked to you about this or if they mentioned it.
Or later on in studying, not in the first few classes or anything, but then they talked about it. Yeah, it doesn't. Or Chinese uses a lot of the same writings, but it's all a tonal language.
Up and down singing,
up and down.
Now, a Japanese, my girlfriend bitterly argues with me. She says, no, Japanese is full of inflection. And it is full of inflection, but not in the way that we Westerners do it with banging on syllables.
Yeah.
Hashi and hashi. And she says, whatever.
Yeah.
Of course there's inflection.
Yes. So they're there. They're just not near as dramatic. I don't know if that's the right word. Not as emphatic, maybe.
Good morning, Awe-san. Sorry, Nate, to ignore you there. Excuse me. Right. Here they come. So we're out of time, are we? It sounds like the special.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a little after 9:30.
And there's a 10 o'clock party, which the girls don't know about, which I have to prepare for. So.
Ohayou gozaimasu.
Morning. 10時パーティーあります。夜の間に夜が入ってま
I
すから。
thought I was going to be very late because of the train, so I don't know if
Yeah,
you saw my email.
I saw it, but
Better than one I thought.
What was happening?
just her train was delayed a few minutes. That's why she's here at 9:35 instead of 25.
Show me the paper.
Yeah,
Show me.
Yeah, did you get an excuse slip?
There's nothing.
Then I don't believe
Yeah,
you.
it didn't happen.
Deductor pay. No. Deductor pay.
I can show you the shape of my bag that became back there, so I think that's a good proof.
Oh, no.
It was a bit
All right,
painful.
Jack Cameron, close this thing down. Okay, I know to let people know what's going on. Today's Wednesday. As I already intimated earlier in the stream, tomorrow's work will be.
Owls.
We're out of owls, so probably I'll be upstairs tomorrow morning printing owls. So you can either abandon me or join me, whichever you like.
Sounds good. Also, one other thing someone's asking about miso, meaning it can mean crab innards, but that's kani miso.
So
and
that's
it's
a specific type of miso.
It looks like miso, the bean paste.
Well, it is.
stuff,
It's miso mixed with the
guts from the inside.
the poop and everything else that's in it.
Yeah, all the good stuff.
Good morning, Shiba-san. Hello.
So we're gonna wrap up here in just a second.
Hang on, let me get the jump out of the way here.
Let's get you back on.
Good, thanks, Sharon. It's been so much easier, Countdown, when you're here. You know, I was struggling with the stream earlier today, but, you know,
I'm glad to help out a little bit.
But once there's a wingman here, it makes things so much easier for me, and I think the stream is better for...
Did you get some carving done?
I get the parts that Yamamoto-san is worried about. There's some places here that have really been clogging up really easily with pigment, so he's asked me to clear them out a little bit. So
Nice.
Let's get Mount Fuji here for the closing scene. There we go. Okay, gang, thanks very much. Back again tomorrow upstairs. Okay, bye-bye. Signing off. See you tomorrow. Good day. Oh, I'm lost here. Okay, camera off. Click. Streaming off. Goodbye.